Hello, Rama Rama Popodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling wonderful, peaceful, relaxed, and happy always. Now let's go to chapter 17. Chitrakut continued. Part 1. The Naked Mouni. When bathing in the river, a tall and dark sadhu informed Ramdas of a place called Anusuyaji, 7 miles from Chitrakut. He had thought of visiting the shrine that day and would be glad to have Ramdas as his companion. Ramdas fell in with his proposal. God always arranges things for him. He took Ramdas to the sadhu ashram of Patakshila, where he had dinner in the company of about 2 dozen sadhus. An incident here is worthy of note. For want of room inside the small ashram, Ramdas had to sit for his meals in the outer veranda. The forests of Chitrakut were teeming with monkeys. The moment a plate containing rotis, rice, and dal was placed before Ramdas, a stout and powerful monkey coming from behind with one sudden grab carried off one roti and some rice. At this, the sadhu serving food looked at Ramdas angrily said, "Why did you allow the monkey to snatch away the roti?" Dullard. "Never mind, Maharaj, he has taken Anuman's share." "Is he not Anuman?" said Ramdas with a smile. In response, the sadhu intently looked at Ramdas and remained silent. Meals over, along with the dark sadhu and also with 2 others who made up the party, Ramdas set out for Anusuyaji. They had to pass through an extensive forest of giant trees. When they entered the depths of the forest, they could discern footmarks of wild beasts on their track. Presently, they neared a small thatched hut of a sadhu who was hewing wood for his night fire. For a few minutes, the party rested beside the ashram and drank the cool water provided by the sadhu. He was an old man with a grey beard, bright, hale, and cheerful. He spoke of wild beasts as though they were domestic animals. The party proceeding onward reached Anusuyaji before sunset. Anusuyaji was an awe-inspiring place. It was a narrow strip of the jungle by the side of the river, having in the background tall, rugged, weird-looking crags. Facing the river stood a terraced building in which the resident sadhus lived, and at some distance, almost hidden in the dense grove of trees, was the temple of Anusuyaji, the celebrated Pativrata, wife of the great sage Atri Muni. Here again the image was of black marble, dressed gaudily in feminine robes after the North Indian fashion. After slaking their thirst at the river, here the water of the brook was of transparent purity. The party rested beneath the huge tree in front of the terrace house. Night was approaching, and along with it also cold. The sadhus went in search of firewood to light a fire for the night. While Ramdas was sitting alone under the tree, he heard the clapping of a hand from the direction of the terrace. A sadhu beckoned to him. Ascending a flight of steps, Ramdas reached the terrace and approached the sadhu who had called him. The sadhu was stark naked. He made signs to Ramdas to sit down on a rough kambal, which he spread on the floor. Ramdas took the seat and he also sat down. The sadhu was a young man, but his body was lean and withered by severe austerities. His unkempt hair and beard showed his utter indifference to physical appearance. His looks were distant and dreamy, and there was a subtle glow on his brown face. As he expressed himself in signs, it was clear that he was also observing the vow of silence. He had in his hand a short japamala of Rudraj beads which he kept rotating between his fingers. By signs he made Ramdas understand that he should remain with him for the night. He took Ramdas inside the room, which he found in a state of perfect disorder. He prepared a seat for Ramdas beside the fire which burnt in the center of the room. In silence, he spent the night in the sadhu's company. Early next day, he asked the sadhu's permission to leave the place. He questioned Ramdas by gestures why he did not carry any water vessel. Ramdas replied it was Ram's will. Out of the debris that lay scattered in his room, he fretted out a neat little god fashioned into a portable water pot. He placed the god before Ramdas and signed that he should take it. He demurred, but the sadhu was not to be foiled. His emphatic gesticulations denoted that Ramdas should never go without a water pot. Ramdas at last submitted and took up the god and bidding him adieu, left the place. Coming down, he joined the dark sadhu who was waiting for him. The other sadhus had left earlier. Ramdas and the dark sadhu proceeded towards Bharat Koop. On the way, they came across the huts of cultivators. Here they were entertained by the poor humble villagers with a meal of rice and curds. In the evening, they reached Bharat Koop. Here was a large well with the branches above of an ancient and gigantic peepal tree. Close by, there were temples of Sri Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Bharat, and Hanuman. They settled for the night beneath the tree on the platform around the well. Next morning, after bath from the well water, they started again. Now the dark sadhu parted from him. Left alone, Ramdas roamed wildly in the jungles for 3 days, stopping in the nights either in the ruins or under the trees and subsisting on moa flowers picked up from the beneath the trees. Moa is a white flower shaped like the rosebud, with thick, juicy petals and is sweet to the taste. Ramdas had come to Chitrakut a week before the Ram Navami celebrations. There were yet 2 days more for the festival. As he wandered, he again came on the parikrama or the path round the Kamtanath hill. On this path, at some distance from each other, were temples, ashrams, and tanks. While going on around, it was nearing midday when 2 devout mothers living in the outhouse of a temple invited Ramdas and fed him with great love. One evening, he climbed the hill called Lakshman Tekri. He spent a night here in a solitary spot. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupodu.